Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you've ever walked into your greenhouse on a cold winter morning, only to find your plants covered in frost, you know how frustrating it can be. In many states like Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota, winter temperatures can drop below 20 degrees or 7 degrees so, making it nearly impossible to keep plants alive without proper heating. The problem? Heating a greenhouse with electricity or gas can cost hundreds of dollars per month. And with energy prices going up, that's not a realistic option for many home gardeners. But what if I told you that you don't need expensive heaters or complicated systems to keep your greenhouse warm? Instead, there are simple, effective, and low-cost ways to raise the temperature by 5 to 15 degrees Celsius using materials you probably already have. In today's video, I'm going to share 7 natural methods to heat your greenhouse without electricity. These techniques will help you protect your plants from freezing so you don't lose them overnight. Extend your growing season, allowing you to grow fresh vegetables all winter long. Save hundreds of dollars on heating costs because, let's be honest, nobody likes high energy bills. And here's the best part. These methods work in any size greenhouse. Whether you have a small backyard greenhouse or a large one, these tips will help you maintain a stable temperature without breaking the bank. Stick around until the end because I'll be sharing a special trick that can boost your greenhouse temperature by up to 10 degrees Fahrenheit overnight. All right, let's get started. The first method is using water barrels as thermal mass, the most affordable way to keep your greenhouse warm. One of the easiest and most effective ways to keep your greenhouse warm without electricity is by using water barrels as thermal mass. This simple trick can increase your greenhouse temperature by 5 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit overnight, preventing frost damage and helping your plants survive even the coldest winter nights. How does it work? Water is excellent at absorbing and storing heat. During the day, sunlight warms the water inside the barrels. At night, as the air temperature drops, the stored heat is slowly released, keeping your greenhouse warmer for longer. How much water do you need? To see real results, you need a good amount of water inside your greenhouse. Here's a simple rule of thumb. 5 gallons of water per square foot of greenhouse space is ideal. If you have a 10 by 10 greenhouse, 100 square feet, that means you need around 500 gallons of water to maintain a noticeable temperature difference. What containers can you use? You don't need giant barrels to make this work. Here are some common, low-cost alternatives. 55-gallon plastic or metal drums. These are the most effective, but take up space. 5-gallon buckets. Great for smaller greenhouses or placing under benches. Milk jugs or juice bottles, easy to find and fit in tight spaces. Black painted containers. Dark colors absorb more heat, so painting your barrels black can boost their effectiveness. Best placement for maximum heat retention. Where you place your water barrels matters. Here's what works best. Along the north wall, helps absorb sunlight while blocking cold winds. Under tables or benches, uses unused space efficiently. Near plants, keeps the warmth close to where it's needed. Bonus tip, salt for extra heat storage. Adding salt to the water can increase its heat retention, keeping the greenhouse warm for even longer. A simple ratio is 1 cup of salt per gallon of water. Next up, let's talk about another crucial step. Insulating your greenhouse to keep that heat inside. The second method is insulating your greenhouse to reduce heat loss. Keep the warmth inside. Now that we've covered how to generate heat using water barrels, the next step is just as important, keeping that heat inside your greenhouse. Without proper insulation, up to 80% of the heat can escape overnight, leaving your plants vulnerable to freezing temperatures. A well-insulated greenhouse can stay 5 to 15 degrees warmer than the outside air, even during the coldest months. Let's look at the best ways to lock in the warmth and reduce heat loss. 1. Use double-layer plastic for extra insulation. Most home greenhouses are covered with a single layer of polycarbonate or plastic sheeting, which doesn't hold heat well. A simple and low-cost solution is to add a second layer with a small air gap in between. This air gap acts like a thermal blanket, reducing heat loss by up to 50%. If you're using polycarbonate panels, A double-layer system can cut energy costs in half. If your greenhouse is covered with plastic film, simply attach a second layer using PVC pipe, clamps, or zip ties. 2. Bubble wrap, the cheapest way to trap heat. Believe it or not, bubble wrap, yes, the kind used for packaging, is one of the best insulators for a greenhouse. Reduces heat loss by up to 30% while still allowing light in. Super affordable. You can buy a large roll for under $20 at most hardware stores. Easy to install. Just tape or clip it to the inside walls of your greenhouse. For best results, use large bubble wrap, as it provides better insulation than the smaller bubble type. 3. Seal up drafts. Stop cold air from getting in. Even small air leaks can cause huge heat loss. A 1/8-inch gap around a door or window can let in as much cold air as a 6-inch hole in your wall. Check for leaks around doors, vents, and windows. Use weather stripping or silicone caulk to seal gaps. Install draft stoppers at the bottom of doors. By sealing up drafts, you can increase the temperature inside your greenhouse by 5 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit without spending a dime on extra heating. Now 4. Straw bales, a natural and effective insulator. Straw bales are one of the best natural insulators and can help block cold winds. Place straw bales along the base of your greenhouse to prevent heat from escaping. Reduces heat loss by up to 40% when stacked along the walls. In the spring, reuse the straw for mulch or compost. Nothing goes to waste. If straw isn't available, you can use bags of leaves or wood chips for similar insulation benefits. 5. Insulate the north wall. Block the coldest side. The north side of your greenhouse loses the most heat since it receives little to no sunlight in winter. Cover the north wall with foam boards, plywood, or reflective insulation to trap heat inside. Using 2-inch foam board can increase your greenhouse temperature by 10 degrees Fahrenheit or more. You can also hang thick blankets or thermal curtains as a temporary solution. How much of a difference does insulation make? By combining these insulation methods, you can reduce heat loss by up to 60% and keep your greenhouse up to 15 degrees Fahrenheit warmer overnight. This means less risk of frost damage, healthier plants, and lower heating costs. Now that we've covered how to keep the heat in, let's move on to another key factor, maximizing sunlight to heat your greenhouse naturally. The third method is maximizing sunlight for natural heating. Use free solar energy. Now that we've covered how to trap heat inside your greenhouse, let's talk about the most powerful free heat source you have. The sunlight is the easiest and most cost-effective way to warm your greenhouse. The more sunlight your greenhouse absorbs during the day, the warmer it will stay at night. By making a few simple adjustments, you can boost your greenhouse temperature by 5 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit without spending a dime on heating. 1. Face your greenhouse south for maximum sunlight. The direction your greenhouse faces has a huge impact on how much heat it captures. In the U.S., the best greenhouse orientation is south-facing to get the most sunlight throughout the day. If your greenhouse is already built, check if trees, fences, or buildings are blocking the sun, especially in winter when the sun is lower in the sky. If possible, relocate or trim obstacles to allow more sunlight to reach your greenhouse. 2. Keep your greenhouse clean. Every bit of light counts. Dirt, dust, and algae on your greenhouse can block up to 30% of sunlight, reducing how much heat gets inside. Wipe down plastic or glass panels every few weeks with warm, soapy water. Remove any snow buildup in winter. Just 1 inch of snow can block 50% of sunlight. Check for foggy or discolored panels. If they've turned yellow or cloudy, consider replacing them to restore maximum light transmission. A clean greenhouse absorbs more sunlight, meaning warmer temperatures and healthier plants. 3. Use reflective surfaces to direct more sunlight inside. You can increase the amount of heat in your greenhouse by bouncing more sunlight onto your plants. Place reflective materials like aluminum foil, mylar sheets, or white painted wood along the north wall or other shaded areas. Reflective insulation can increase light exposure by 10 to 20%, boosting plant growth and overall warmth. If using stone or concrete pathways, consider painting them a light color to reflect more sunlight onto plants. More light equals more heat for your greenhouse without needing any extra power. Hashtag 4. Use dark-colored materials to absorb and store heat. Dark colors absorb heat better than light colors, making them great for storing warmth during the day and releasing it at night. Use black containers, dark-colored stones, or black plastic sheets to capture more solar heat. Lining the floor with dark mulch, bricks, or black rubber mats can help raise nighttime temperatures. Studies show that using dark thermal mass materials can increase greenhouse temps by 5 to 8 degrees Fahrenheit overnight. F5. Open vents during the day to prevent overheating. While capturing sunlight is essential, too much heat can be just as damaging as the cold. Even in winter, temperatures in a greenhouse can exceed 80 degrees Fahrenheit, 20 Fahrenheit on sunny days, which can stress plants. Use roof vents, side vents, or small windows to let excess heat escape. Open vents when inside temperatures exceed 75 degrees Fahrenheit, 24 degrees Celsius, to maintain a balanced climate. Close vents before sunset to trap as much warmth as possible for the night. The fourth method is using gravel and stones to store heat, a natural and low-maintenance solution. Now that we've talked about capturing sunlight, let's take it one step further by storing that heat using gravel and stones. Just like water barrels, these materials can absorb heat during the day and slowly release it at night, helping to keep your greenhouse warmer for longer. This method is 100% natural, requires no maintenance, and can increase your greenhouse temperature by 5 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit overnight. How do gravel and stones keep your greenhouse warm? Think about how hot a sidewalk or driveway gets on a sunny day. That's because stone, brick, and gravel hold heat extremely well. The same concept works inside your greenhouse. During the day, sunlight warms up the stones and gravel, storing thermal energy. At night, the stored heat is slowly released, keeping the temperature inside your greenhouse more stable. Studies show that placing thermal mass materials like stones and gravel inside a greenhouse can reduce nighttime temperature drops by up to 50%. 2. Best ways to use gravel and stones for maximum heat retention. A. Gravel flooring, the easiest way to store heat. Cover the floor of your greenhouse with 2 to 4 inches of gravel. The gravel absorbs heat all day long and releases it gradually at night. Helps prevent standing water and improves drainage, which reduces mold and fungus growth. Can increase nighttime temperatures by 5 to 8 degrees Celsius, making a huge difference for cold-sensitive plants. Place large stones, bricks, or concrete blocks along the greenhouse edges. Dark-colored stones absorb more heat than light-colored ones. Position them along the south-facing wall where they can soak up maximum sunlight. A row of concrete blocks or bricks can act as a heat bank, slowly releasing warmth overnight. Tests show that using bricks or concrete along greenhouse walls can maintain temperatures 8 to 12 degrees Fahrenheit higher than outside air at night. C. Stack stones near plants to create mini heat zones. If you have smaller plants or seedlings, place small rocks or bricks around them to help radiate warmth overnight. Works especially well for heat-loving plants like tomatoes, peppers, and citrus trees. D. Use dark-colored mulch or lava rocks. Black or dark brown mulch absorbs heat better than traditional wood mulch. Lava rocks are great for absorbing and slowly releasing heat while adding a decorative touch to your greenhouse. The fifth method is using plants to help retain heat. Let nature work for you. Believe it or not, your plants can actually help keep your greenhouse warm. The more plants you have, the more heat they absorb and release, creating a natural microclimate that stabilizes temperatures and reduces heat loss overnight. By strategically using plants, you can increase your greenhouse temperature by 5 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit without needing any extra heating equipment. Let's see how it works. However, 1. How do plants help retain heat? Plants, soil, and organic matter absorb and store heat from the sun during the day, just like water barrels or stones. During the day, leaves, stems, and soil soak up heat from sunlight. At night, that stored warmth is gradually released, keeping temperatures stable. A dense greenhouse with plenty of foliage and moist soil can hold heat up to 30% longer than an empty one. A fully stocked greenhouse maintains higher humidity and warmth than one with fewer plants. Even in winter, keep your greenhouse filled with cold-hardy crops like kale, spinach, carrots, and lettuce to help create a natural heat barrier. Studies show that greenhouses with at least 70% plant coverage can stay 5 to 8 degrees warmer at night than those with sparse vegetation. B. Use large potted plants to store and release heat. Soil acts as a thermal mass, absorbing heat during the day and releasing it at night. Large potted plants or raised beds hold more heat than smaller containers. The bigger the plant and its soil volume, the more heat it retains. A 10-gallon pot absorbs up to 4 times more heat than a small container. Place big potted plants along the north wall to act as a natural heat buffer. C. Group plants together to trap warm air. Plants naturally create pockets of warm air between their leaves. By placing plants close together, you reduce heat loss and slow down the cooling process at night. This method works especially well for sensitive crops like tomatoes, peppers, and citrus trees. D. Use cover crops to insulate the soil. Keeping the soil covered with straw, mulch, or low-growing plants helps prevent heat loss from the ground. Mulch soil stays up to 10 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than bare soil at night. Using cover crops like clover or winter rye can reduce soil heat loss by 30% compared to bare ground. The sixth method is using a terracotta pot heater for extra warmth, a simple DIY heat source. Sometimes, even after using water barrels, insulation, and thermal mass, your greenhouse may still need a little extra warmth, especially on freezing nights when temperatures drop below 7 degrees degrees. One of the cheapest and easiest ways to add extra heat without electricity is by using a terracotta pot heater. This simple setup can increase temperatures by 5 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit in small greenhouses or help protect delicate seedlings from frost. 1. How does a terracotta pot heater work? A terracotta pot heater uses a small candle or a can of vegetable shortening, like Crisco, as fuel and a ceramic flower pot to trap and slowly release heat into the surrounding air. The candle flame heats up the terracotta pot, which absorbs and stores the warmth. The pot radiates the heat slowly, creating a gentle and steady warmth in your greenhouse. This method doesn't require electricity and can burn for hours, making it a low-cost emergency heating option. What you'll need to make a terracotta pot heater. You only need a few inexpensive items, most of which you might already have. 1 large terracotta flower pot. Unglazed, absorbs heat better. 1 small candle or a can of vegetable shortening, Crisco, with a wick. 1 fireproof base. 3 small bricks or pot feet to lift the pot off the ground for airflow. 3. How to set it up. Step 1. Place your candle or Crisco can on the fireproof base inside your greenhouse. Step 2. Light the candle or wick. Step 3. Invert the terracotta pot over the flame, making sure it rests on bricks or pot feet to leave a small gap at the bottom for airflow. Step 4. The pot will slowly heat up, absorbing and radiating warmth into the greenhouse. Candle heaters can burn for 4 to 6 hours. A full can of Crisco can burn for up to 10 to 15 days. 4. How much heat does it generate? A single terracotta pot heater can raise temperatures by 5 to 8 degrees Fahrenheit in a small 6 by 8 feet greenhouse. For larger greenhouses, you may need 2 to 3 heaters spread out for better heat distribution. Using multiple candles or a larger pot can increase heat output by up to 10 Fahrenheit. #5. Important safety tips. Place the heater on a fireproof surface, ceramic tile, bricks, or a metal tray. Keep it away from flammable materials like dry leaves, fabric, or plastic. Ensure proper ventilation to prevent carbon buildup. Leave a small window or vent slightly open. Never leave it unattended for long periods in a closed greenhouse. Let's do a quick recap. Water barrels as thermal mass, absorbs heat during the day and releases it at night, increasing temperatures by 5 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Insulation to reduce heat loss. Adding bubble wrap, double-layer plastic, or straw bales can help keep your greenhouse 15 degrees Fahrenheit warmer overnight. Maximizing sunlight, positioning your greenhouse south-facing, Keeping it clean and using reflective materials can boost daytime temperatures by up to 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Gravel and stones for heat storage. Using gravel floors, bricks, or large stones can keep your greenhouse 5 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit warmer at night. Using plants to retain heat. A fully stocked greenhouse with dense foliage and moist soil can hold heat up to 30% longer than an empty one. DIY terracotta pot heater. A simple, off-grid heating method that can increase greenhouse temperatures by 5 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit, perfect for emergency warmth. By combining these techniques, you can keep your greenhouse significantly warmer, extend your growing season, and save hundreds of dollars in heating costs over the winter. What's next? Now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these methods have you tried? Do you have any other greenhouse heating tips that work well? Drop a comment below. I read every one of them. And if you found this video helpful, hit the like button to let me know. Subscribe so you don't miss more gardening tips. Turn on notifications so you get updates whenever I post new content. Thank you for watching and happy growing. See you in the next video.